That's it, everybody. We are back with our Robert Foertsch, who has joined us for this hangout. And with us today is our Patricia and Robert. So, hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi everyone.
Cool. Hello there. So, Robert, the other day we spoke, and you've got lots to say, haven't you? But you always have lots to say.
Well, yeah, and today I believe it may sound a bit different. I don't know. There's a couple of things that I have really wanted us to think about, and that would be some of the psychological aspects of what we believe, why we believe it, and how can we believe new information, albeit even though it may be true, how can we look at it without necessarily just shutting off our interest in knowing what that information is when it sounds unusual or kind of like maybe hard to believe.
So,
That's
what do you want to talk about today, then, Robert?
Well, so is what we believe true? And that pursuit of the truth is the main point. And the name of my YouTube channel is Truth, and it's just the word truth is the name of my channel. And trying to navigate through the censorship that is all around us, and the artificial intelligence that employs some pretty high-powered technology to deceive humanity and to hide the truth from some and present it through others or to others and through others. So it's a bit of a complicated situation. How will we recognize the truth when it's actually like right in front of us, the reality of the world that we live in? So that's kind of my
It's
launch.
always in front of you, Robert, but nobody notices it because they've been told something else.
Well, and therein lies the challenge. It's like a virus to hinder people from being able to believe the truth or see the
I have to tell you,
reality.
Robert, I do use something that you say, by the way. They don't know that they don't know. I
Yeah,
say that quite
that's
often now.
yeah, and it's yeah, it's a bit of a challenge because, the pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. It perpetuates it. It causes us to, let's say, think we've got it all figured out, when in fact that may not be the case. Including with me, to be intellectually honest, I don't come on this program and say, "Hey, I've got it all figured out. Here's the truth. If you believe anything else, you're deceived." That's not at all what I'm saying, because the truth that I'm talking about may be different for everybody in the context of your own life, the circumstances that
You
you're
know, the most
living in.
important thing, you've got to be true to yourself, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges because our human nature can be easily deceived. At least that's what I've come to believe. And I didn't know that that's all I had until about 5 years ago when I was given more. I had a spiritual awakening, I believe a spiritual rebirth when I was actually born again. It's what Scripture says happens to God's children. I just thought it had happened to me, in 1982. And then I found out that, or at least I came to believe that that wasn't the case because I struggled so much with so many issues that I was supposed to be set free from. I wasn't supposed to be, well, I was supposed to have a new nature, and I had struggled with some of the same things for so long, including alcoholism and drug addiction. And then, if I say when I say that, for a whole group of people that never struggled with that, and they've given money to charitable organizations, and they were able to put things back where they got them from, and have all their stuff in order, they might think, yeah, you needed that. That's a crutch for the feeble, for the weak-minded. And that's a trap too, because well, what happened or what can happen is that's pride. They're kicking in again. So, is what we believe true? That's the and is what you believe true? Because quite frankly, what I believe has quite an effect in my life. However, it doesn't directly affect yours per se, because we have different lives, we make different choices, and a different, quite often a different code of conduct, or what makes us tick, what drives us, what gets us up in the morning or in the night, what keeps us awake at night, what do we think about? And when I
Thing is,
found out,
you're somebody that doesn't watch the television, though, aren't you, Robert? You watch the television all the time, but that's because you're putting your what do you call it, your data, your moon, your suns, whatever you're doing. That's what you're using a screen for. But you're not watching all the programs, are you? That's
well,
how they mind control people.
right. So that's part of it. And so like I've got the television on right now. However, it's in the background, and it's basically my YouTube channel, which has over 3,320 some, or it's I'm not trying to have a certain number. I just keep on adding, and it's 3,300 and some videos that are on my liked video playlist. I typically like all my videos because I want to intermingle them with the content that I find and share. So in the context of that, there will be people that hold to different perspectives than me on significant issues, and I put them there because I believe it's worth considering. We've got people that are venerated as leaders and very insightful, and I believe it's a catalyst for consideration. For example, in the movie The Matrix, that many of us refer to as like a metaphorical touchstone, taking the red pill and learning more about the world we live in, and then the blue pill is to go back to sleep or stay asleep. And much of humanity appears to be in a sedated, computer-generated dream world of sorts. And they may think themselves very well informed. That's part of the they don't know. They don't know. If they're watching a lot of mainstream television, it's not just the information that's coming through. It has to do with flicker rates of the actual device itself. And what I've noticed is that the television was a terrible termite of time. It would chew away at it. It would eat away at it. So like when I'm out washing the car and I'm out in front of the house, and there will be people driving by, all of a sudden a whole group of people will come by, like after a show ends. It's kind of easy to see. It's a different demographics. We've got the people getting ready for school, the school age. And quite often I'll be out there either doing yard work or cleaning the car or getting things unloaded or reloaded for going to the beach. And what ends up happening with that is that there's a certain amount of interaction. People will come on by and talk to me and want to know what is the YouTube channel Truth about. Can you? And so that curiosity is I believe, powerful catalyst for consideration, considering new information, which is how many of us got here. Uh, I'll say for myself, and I've heard this from many others, I can personally speak to what happened with me, is that when I was searching for information about how things work in the world, like I saw 9/11 Inside Job, or it was Loose Change maybe by Jason Burmis, and I had no idea until I believe it was about 2008 that that the official story that we were told about the events of 9/11 of 2001 were not even possible as they were told to us. And that became really disturbing to me because it meant that so much of what I had believed was not true. So what do we do with that? Well, when I kept on questioning my reality and the reality around me, what is real and what is factual, it went way back to when I was a child and found out Santa Claus, as I was told, with his flying reindeer, that that was a lie. And it was presented as fact, not just once a year. It was presented throughout the year, like a beautiful sunset. My mom would say, "Oh, look at Santa's baking cookies." And then it would be if I hesitated to, let's say, do some chores, I would hear, "Remember, Bobby, Santa's watching." Well, Santa wasn't watching. That was not true. And so when we come
Oh, Robert.
to yeah, so I started questioning a lot, I got to say. And when I found out that Santa was a lie, included in the deception, I remember living in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there were a radar was broadcast on the weather portion of the news, and they showed Santa flying over Lake Michigan with his flying reindeer. So there was a very clever deception. I mean, if you think about back in years before we had television, you know, it would be word of mouth and folklore and that type of thing, and there were good storytellers and all that. There became a unified kind of a way that that story could be told to many more people by very much fewer and highly controlled people. In other words, Big Brother, when the authority wants your opinion, it'll give it to you. That's what happened. When Big Brother wants to know what you think, he'll put that thought there. And that's part of the
Even with
programming.
Christmas, isn't it a shame? Like they could have geared it to people being together, families, connections, hugs, Christmas that way. But all it's really to do is with money.
Yeah, materialism is a big part of that that time of celebration, and it's got to do with marketing of products and and involved in that is a programmed dissatisfaction with what we have to create the need or the perceived need to have something else to feel more complete and to be more satisfied with our life experience. So to have
But is
high
that because everybody's looking for it on the outside, but they don't realize they've got to find it on the inside?
true, and some of them may think that they'll find that in a relationship with another person. That's that's our little buddy Dean. Let me see if I can put him on for you. He's he's naughty. Dean is a naughty little guy. Let's see if I can flip it around for you. I've got to watch out because he'll chew on my cord if I'm not careful. Okay, I haven't done this for a while. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, he's a little character, Dean Martin there.
There he is.
You're worldwide. He thinks about well when he sees the chords, he likes to chew on them. So I've got to be careful with that. But back to
The
the
thing is, you know, don't you, Robert, with all the research you've done and all the times you go on the beach and all the photographs you take and all the filming, most people are still asleep, aren't they?
I would say now the what's interesting in this is that depending on the location, maybe you've heard location, 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 as it deals with real estate. It can also deal with when going to the beach. If it's a group of people that are walking their dogs, it's not like a group normally goes to the beach per se. It might be families. There's the locals, people that live here. What's interesting is that a lot of people that live here don't go to the beach that often. A bunch. A bunch don't go much, from what I understand. And I can tell because when I go out to the beach, there are very few people in the early morning, in the sunrise, let's say. And that'll be a whole different group of people. There will be dog walkers, joggers, people visiting from all over the world. And many of those people are at a point where they're rather reflective. They may be more thoughtful about their world circumstances and their life circumstances. Where walking to or going into, let's say, a Walmart, do you have Walmarts in the UK as well?
Um, Patricia, do we have Walmart? I don't think so. I don't know. No, but we probably have an alternative.
No, ours is Asda, isn't it?
What is the major store chain that you have to buy your consumables, foods and household goods?
Patricia?
It's Asda. Asda is like Walmart. Well, it's the same company.
Oh,
Tesco's and well, there's quite a few actually. Sainsbury's, Morrison's.
hmm.
Oh, I think we've got about
Co-op.
5 big ones.
Co-op.
And does Amazon have a pretty robust distribution network over there as well? Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Hmm. So that particular dynamic has changed much of how we interact. There's a lot of people that will do a lot of their shopping online, so they don't even they don't even go to the stores as much, which can be quite a social setting. Now, in the rural area where I grew up, in Wisconsin, in agricultural country, when we had a Walmart, that was kind of a pretty popular thing for people to do, would be to go to the Walmart and walk around and meet friends and talk and that type of thing. Because with winters and that, it would get cold for us. And let's see, there we go. And so people would go there and go walking around. But yeah, a lot of people would be rather unified in their beliefs. What I found and posted a video about some of the information involving Brexit and Facebook. And I didn't even really know much about Brexit, and I certainly at the time that it was going on didn't know about how Facebook had presented a lot of information to influence the voting on all of that. No shocker there, though, really. I just was busy doing other things. And so
It's a load of politics.
Well, yes, it is.
Robert, can I just say something? Could you just put
Absolutely.
yourself a little bit more center in the camera?
Sure. Let's see if I can do that.
No, the other way. That's it. That's it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a load of politics. It's a load of rubbish.
it is bollocks, right?
Robert!
Yeah, I hear that more from the people in the UK, right? That's a euphemism from your or
Yeah,
area,
I
bollocks.
suppose. Yeah.
So in the discussion that we are in pursuing the truth, there's a lot of disinformation, of course, and then there's a certain amount of automation in the computer generated trickery that goes on. So where there would be catfishing, you might have somebody pretending to be somebody else to maybe get money from an individual that's uh, looking for relationship, and they lose a lot of their money through that. Maybe you've heard of that. Well, the artificial intelligence catfish is catfishing humanity, using that for presenting a false reality. It's got a insatiable
It's quite
appetite
horrible,
for.
isn't it? That's how the people feel if that's what they've got to do to gain. It's
Well,
all about.
now Yeah, so there's people that are doing it, and then there's automated computer generated chatbots that are doing it too. And how can I tell the difference? I don't know that I can because, for example, in this whole discussion with Q, I was thinking about it as I was cleaning my, I think I'm going to take us outside. It's pretty nice out there. Um, in the discussion with Q and QAnon, one of the things that has happened is there was showing some of the uh, setting that apparently Q had access to, like the Oval Office in the White House. And I'm thinking, okay, so artificial intelligence, how much access does AI have to that room? I would think quite a bit. So any camera that's on the internet has artificial intelligence has access to it. Come on, let's go back here. I don't. There we go. So AI is pretty tricky, and
Yes, I agree with you on that one, Robert.
oh yeah. So how will we know when it's an AI chatbot that we're talking to, or that's giving us a load of bollocks? So it can be kind of challenging. And so that's part of where when I was looking into all the different deception that was going on, I came to realize that it's a real challenge to find the truth in a matter. There's certain things that we have to believe because knowing for sure isn't really even possible on some of the topics. So there you go. I wanted to, like hand it
Whoa,
back off.
Robert. Yes, this is a different Robert.
Well, I'm growing. I'm getting older and getting, I believe, wiser, and I'm questioning more and more as I grow and in that. So I'm going to flip this camera
Yes.
on. I want to show you something. I want to show you a bunch. So what I ended up doing was organize the back area. There's what they call a satellite dish, but from what I understand, they're bouncing frequencies off of what we have come to believe, many of us, as the firmament. So that's all kind of different. And right now we've got some beautiful skies, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise they're taking us to space, but actually everything's under the ground or on the ground.
Well, the space that NASA is most concerned with is between your ears, your imagination. That's where they take us. Um, and not us as much, but with this what's called let me I'm going to try and fix this up a little bit. I think I'm going to grab my sunglasses. One of the things that's going on with augmented reality, as they call it, and virtual reality, is it's even more of an elaborate deception than many of us have even, or than I've considered. So in some of this, when they talk about travel to Mars, well, they're faking it, of course. And AI has no
Did
problem
I send you
lying.
that cartoon this week, Robert, when it said life on Mars and there's a fly on top of a Mars bar?
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, some of
Mm.
the Mars footage looks conspicuously like some same Earth footage, right? Of course. They're lying. They're lying. And I ain't buying. And that's where we're at, is wanting to know, that many of us wanting to know the truth. And so I've got a serious commitment to continually pursue the investigation, and as I find out more, I'll let people know what I've come to find out. So artificial intelligence is probably one of the biggest existential threats that humanity has. And then in the context of that, we're all, I believe, eternal beings having a temporary human experience. Now, at some point in the human experience, I believe those that are God's children, the creator of the everything, like everything as in the the world, the trees, the water, the I'm a biblical creationist. You all know that. That's how I came into this whole discussion as as a Bible believing creationist. And what I found out is that that is really an unpopular view. But back to the uh, people perishing, roughly 100, over 100 million per year die, and that's over seven people, about 7 people per second. That's a lot of people. And where will they go and why? And so different people that are recognized
Mind
as
you, Robert, you got those statistics from them. We don't know, do we?
that's correct. That's correct. I don't know. So that would be one of the things that I would have to believe. I do know that I can't get together with my mom and dad because they're gone. My mom died about 26 years ago on September 28th, and she said, "Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will." And that was a disturbing statement. And I've got a really good memory. They never really told her to stay away from sugar, to stay away from junk food. There was never really any discussion of many
Yeah, fruit,
alternative.
fruit, raw vegetables, anything that's good. Not no meat, no
Yeah,
processed food.
that wasn't. Basically, it was you're on chemo, have whatever you can eat, whatever you can keep down. So the chemotherapy would make people pretty sick to their stomach, and that's so then people would take things that make the nausea go away. And then it's just a train wreck of how they uh, toxify humanity there. But they know not only the causes of much of the cancer that's um, all throughout humanity, they're actually intentionally inserting it into the food, water, and air. What I found out more recently is that borax, Mule 20 team borax, is actually 99.9% boron. And what it does is it's really healthy in that it kills fungus. It kills parasites. I had a video killing my parasites. It'll kill candida, which is a gastrointestinal fungus, which has some really unfortunate uh, uh, effects on the body. Fungus does. I believe that it's pretty well recognized that cancer is a parasite that'll kill its host. Fungus is a parasite, and some believe that cancer is, in fact, also a fungus that does not survive well in an alkaline environment. So the baking soda that I've been ingesting for years, using it as a tooth cleaner and personal hygiene product, helps alkalinize the body, and that reduces the tendency for the body to create and feed cancer. So the simple version would be garbage in, garbage out. The more complicated challenge is to determine what is the garbage and how do we keep it out. So, like when I bathe now in highly purified carbon filtered drinking water, known as reverse osmosis, that purified water goes directly into the skin and replaces some of the fluid that's in my circulatory system. So
Yeah, you do
that's
look good, Robert.
thank you. Thank you. I feel good too. I'm 58 years old now, and I feel healthier than I ever have. I've got a pretty aggressive schedule, a lot of activity, awake a lot of hours a day, and I have a lot of energy to do that. So the high-powered liquefied fruits and vegetables, that would be a big part of it. That's a huge part of it. And so the healthy water, basically the way that that works is when the water is absorbed into the skin and replaces some of the liquid that would otherwise need to be purified or cleansed through the liver, the kidneys, and the bladder, and all of that. And so, just to think about it, like the bottom of my feet, or the farther away, that whole system, the lymphatic system. We've got a liquid distribution system that isn't exactly all blood. There's liquid too, and that liquid carries nutrients as well as the blood carrying nutrients as well. So in the distribution of the nutrients and the harvesting or collecting of the toxins, what happens is I'm using a system in the water purifier is basically cleansing a lot of the toxins out of my body. It's a detoxification process. So the water is a big deal. The water exposes much of the reality of the world we live in, that it's definitely not a spinning, wobbling, and gyrating oblate spheroid with upside down people in relationship to other people. That's not possible. It's not reality either. It's just it's a grand
It's
illusion.
really amazing, isn't it, that we just live in a totally fake place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and so in the context of what we choose to put in our eyes, what we look at, what we listen to, what we eat, all has to do with what we believe as well, and it's a catalyst for that. So that now, do you fluoridate your water? Is the water fluoridated in the UK where you are?
Well, that's what they tell us.
Oh, so they're fluoridating your water too?
Yeah, and where we are, we're probably like, I don't know if we're drinking fresh water or whether it was, like teed out yesterday, cleaned, and then we're drinking it today.
Well, so there's quite a bit of water reuse, recirculation through the system. We with 20 million guests a year in the Grand Strand area. Not only is there water fluoridation, there's a reuse of a portion of that water. Now, one of the other things that has been discovered is there's been pharmaceuticals discovered in many municipal water supplies and other toxic chemicals. Pharmaceuticals are basically pretty toxic for the perception. So water fluoridation is highly toxic, and I have a video called "The Great Culling." That's the name of it. That's on my channel. And that particular video really does an excellent job of exposing that atrocity of water fluoridation. It's um, it's having some disturbing health effects on people. And one of the things to keep in mind, like for example, I'm trying to use my trying to get my gimbal to do what I want it to do. It's kind of not. There we go. So instead of saying that there's side effects, understanding that there's an enemy that wants fewer people and less perceptive people that are still around, what happens is they create chemicals that have effects on our perception. So that affects the way that we see things, and then it further affects choices that we make. So, for example, watching the Weather Channel when we have a huge storm system coming in, quite often there will be, I would say, the number one advertiser in time wise would be the pharmaceutical industry. It appears to be. And so when they show like weather gone viral or something like that, they would show landslides, tornadoes, tsunamis, hurricanes, um, all kinds of human tragedy. Well, if that doesn't make somebody a little anxious, they're not paying attention. Because one of the realities of that is we're all somewhat vulnerable to that type of activity. And then it's a reminder that we're moving closer towards that time in our life when we die. You know, a lot of people will immerse themselves in a variety of distractions uh, to not think about that and to not think about serious issues. A lot of people don't want to think about serious issues, right? And I was given
No,
a
they don't.
and I was given a different operating system for I have more interest in knowing what's going on. I want to know what's happening around me. I enjoy being out in the sunshine, and it's beautiful. That's part of the tapestry of reality, I believe. So in the how do we know what is real? So if we look at what Morpheus was saying to Neo when he was explaining to him the Matrix, he says, "How do you define real? What you can see, taste, feel, touch?" I would say that what is real, what is true, and reality and truth, I believe, are interchangeable. So, what is the truth about the what we perceive to be the reality? There lies one of the big challenges because that is what drives much of humanity is what they believe to be true, and so yeah, and it works for people.
But we're
So
back to that bit then, aren't we? That the people don't know that they don't know.
right, exactly, yeah, they don't. And to be intellectually honest, I was right there with them. And I may be there as well in a issue that I'm unaware of yet. So part of the development of where I am is a group of people that I have become connected with that are also interested in the truth, and they'll share things with me. So, for example, I share this on some of my videos where I'll comment and I'll say, shared millions of times through my liked video. I'm trying to get this back. Shared millions of times through my liked videos playlists. Here's how that works. The thousands of photos that I have shared have a photo album they're in. And that photo album has been shared thousands of times, and I've copied and pasted it thousands of times. Thousands of thousands is millions. So today, I saw that one of my friends shared a video of my, or shared a photo of mine. It showed aspartame. That particular photo didn't have my video, my like video playlist linked. That particular photo was shared almost 500 times. So there's 500 editions of that photo out there that's also linked to the 2,840 some photos that are with that photo album. So when somebody shares one of my photos, they're they're sharing thousands of my photo album photos in my album, as well as thousands and thousands, actually millions of links of my liked video playlist. So this is a collaborative effort with people that I agree with and disagree with both. Many of us are on a journey. So when I show some of the fakery that's in humanity and some of the actual conspiracies that are going on, that deception is right there. And I give it somewhat of a breakdown and talk about it. I want us to be aware of it, to know that exists, or at least what I believe to be real about it. I mean, the creating out of thin air and creating money out of thin air, and then buying the influence of humanity with that to project a false reality. Wow, that's a mouthful. That's the world we live in, with what's believed to be uh, like fake news. So that term was put out there, fake news. Well, we've got more than that. We've had fake
It doesn't
education.
help, does it, when, sorry, because it's not my country, it's your country, but Obama passed, I mean, it was bad enough before, I'm sure, but when Obama passed that law that the media could lie to us, it's made
Oh,
everything
well,
a lie worse.
well, I believe that that has been going on for longer than when that law maybe went into effect. It's been happening
Oh,
for a
yeah.
long time. We know that. We know that we've been lied to for a long time. So part of the dynamic is uh, when wanting to know what is the history, what is the actual history of the world that we live in, and there's a lot of mystery with the history. When somebody is really proud and saying, "Oh, you're a stupid flat earther," okay, can you explain the pyramids to me? How did they build them? How did they do that? Artificial intelligence is computer software, computer systems writing its own programming, and it's not people friendly. And it can shut your electricity off if the God that I believe in allows it. So here's part of the deal. It's a big part of the deal. I believe in what's called the
Hey,
sa-
Robert, do you know what? Do you know what I see it as? They're
what's that?
pretending like we've got democracy. They're pretending that we're free, but it's the complete opposite.
You have no choice. You have owners. That's what George Carlin
Yeah.
was talking about. The big club, and we're not a member of it. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not a member of the big club. I'm exposing that system of deception. And back to what I was saying is that um, God is sovereign, the creator of the world, of the universe, as far as what we can see and what we can't see. He created it all. And I believe that there's a spiritual battle going on that existed before human beings even walked the earth. In fact, it existed in the heavenly realm before the earth was created, from what I understand. And the fallen one, Satan, was cast out of heaven because he wanted to take God's place. It's not that he wanted to just be like God. He wanted to be the ruler of everything. Well, Satan and a third of the angels were cast out of heaven. They ended up here. So and more. They're all around. So there's a spiritual dimension that many of us realize exists, and some believe in the God that I believe Scripture talks about, the God of the Bible, so to speak, the living Word, the living water, the great I am, Jesus Christ, Yeshua. There's a lot of names for that Creator. Some call him the Great Spirit. They may have never heard of the person of Jesus Christ or Yeshua, and so there's a lot of different gods too, and and there is a god of this world, Satan, from what I understand. Now he'll use whatever he can. He uses who and whatever he can, and God uses it all. The Creator uses it all, and He allows a lot of evil to take place. We see it all around us, and there's some mystery with that. So and there's mystery with history, and there's mystery also with how things take place in this world. So, um, the if we were to look at weapons of mass instruction, we're looking at television. It's also a weapon of mass deception, deceiving humanity. The devices that we're on right now, the smartphones, are mobile computers. I recently liked a video by Cold Fusion that was put out a couple days ago about the history of the iPhone. Fascinating information. Our world is different because of technology. There's just no doubt about it. And so, like mystery with history, when we're
But
presented
you know
that,
what else they've done, don't you? With your iPhone or any smartphone, you've got GPS, so it's just another way of them knowing where you are.
oh, it's more involved than that. They've got
Because they've given us what we think is technology and da da da, but actually it's another way of them listening into us, watching us. You
Oh yeah.
know, mm.
Yeah, it's even more than that. The nanoparticulate that's in the aerosol dispersals, the geoengineering, that's a big deal. That's part of the tracking and smart dust, nanobots. I don't know if you knew that, but the borax, the boron, is a nanoparticulate mitigation. It mitigates some of the uh, damage that can be done to our physiology with that. I can't hide from the technology. I can't hide from God. I can't hide from Satan. Really, I guess uh, to look at it spiritually, I'm hidden in Christ. My identity is in Christ, and because He's in me, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. Since we've talked, I mean, on a Google or on a Hangout, one of the real common things that I'm doing in almost every one of my YouTube videos is I'm hashtagging my name, Robert Foertsch, and I'm also putting my phone number. So if you wanted stickers like these, are you seeing it in the proper direction or reverse?
It's not. It's proper.
Oh, good, good. Now Facebook will reverse that. But if you want these, if somebody wants these, you could send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Robert Forsch, 169 Cloverleaf Drive, Longs, Longs, South Carolina 29568 in the United States. You could bring it right up on a computer and see where I live. My phone number is 1-843-504-1776, and also Facebook Messenger is free. I've got WhatsApp. I don't use that much, but I probably should. And my Skype handle is YouTube Truth. So those are multiple ways. And one of the things that I've recently had a commenter say, and others have articulated it personally to me, they really appreciate that I'm putting my personal information out there. I'm not hiding behind a keyboard. I'm out in public. I'm obviously a real person. And that's part of the dynamic in this world of synthetic and augmented reality and
Did you say?
tremendous. What's
Did you
that?
say Facebook turns the videos round?
Yeah, yeah. On the selfie mode that I'm on right now, when I hold any print up there, like my shirt, the printing will be all backwards. It's just the way it is. I don't know why they do that, but that's how it is. So everything would be in reverse if it's on the selfie mode. Now, when I flip it around, the forward facing camera, it's in the proper orientation. Speaking of orientation, there's been a lot of bait and switch with gender and transgender and the transpocalypse, which involves transhumanism and the androgyny, the male female. Uh, it's complicated, but it's weird, and it's going on all around us. I found out so much more of that now. Some of them may actually be a genetic male, and they're presenting as a genetic male, and then others are different. They're showing a different gender than they actually are. You can change the plumbing and padding, but you still have the original genetics. But what they're doing is not only hitting humanity with gender confusing chemicals, including in the water. Here's a trick I want you to know about. If you put a highly aggressive pure water in inexpensive disposable plastic containers, you're consuming estrogen mimicking chemicals intentionally. One of the other things is some of the chemicals in the base food supply, like Alex Jones, he did a rant where he said they're making the frogs gay, and made it sound funny. But the reality of it is atrazine is a gender confusing toxin. It not
I
only
don't personally mind. Everybody's whoever they want to be, but it's the way that they're doing it is my worry.
yeah, well, and that's so one of the
You know, you
things that
watch
I
if you watch the news I watched this one and she was called like Angel and they were talking away, but I could see their Adam's apple moving up and down.
Hey, I'll tell you what, evidently Michael Obama was swinging a package there on the Ellen show. That was too freaking weird. Looked like a salami there swinging around. Yeah. So, like Joan Rivers said, we had a tranny, a homosexual in the White House, but we also had a transgender in the White House. Apparently, she was killed. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery with that. A lot of the high level
We're not
Masons.
sure anymore. We think when they're announced that they've died or something, it's because they've had enough of their actor life on the television. So they just want to go off and you know not be that person anymore.
Well, and then it's kind of complicated in that what amount of being able to be having a conscious transferred to another, uh, how would we say, a sleeve, a human sleeve, as they call it. That's part of the transpocalypse is transhumanism and integrating powerful technology that actually puts the memory, like using the technology that Elon Musk has talked about and owns a company called Neuralink, where actually apparently your consciousness can be uploaded to the computer. Kind of interesting stuff. We're not in Kansas anymore. So I'm going to flip this around. I want to show you something. Here is the Truth Mobile. Okay, so this has been seen worldwide. It was at the first Flat Earth Conference, and that's the. Oh, I was standing behind the car when I was talking to Brady from Vice News, HBO, and then those clips went viral. So when I'm driving around in this car, a lot of times people will see it. Of course, it's easy to see, and then some of them will go to my channel. They'll tell me that they found me because of my vehicle or being out in public. And whoops, let's see, what did I just do here? Being out in public and walking around with the shirt on, like out at the beach, they'll see the car, and or they'll see me walking around at a store like a Walmart, and and then what I'll do is I'll say, if you might find my channel interesting. I've got very diverse content on my channel. So some people will go there, some people will not, of course. A lot of people won't. And we all have a prerogative, apparently, to do largely what we want to do. That's mostly what I've come to find out is um, we believe what we want to believe, and we do what we want to do. And so part of the dynamic for me is I have a different motivation to do what I want to do. That's a big deal. So it's not like it used to be for me. I get to do a lot of interesting things, exposing the reality of the world we live in to a population that is largely not interested is challenging, and that's part of the fellowship that we have. In that, uh, you know, we believe in, or at least I believe in what I'm doing. I meet a lot of other people that uh, love what I'm doing. They love me, and they love to hate on me too. It's rather polarizing, and I'm not the only one that happens with. We have people that are really in favor of what we're doing, and then others, meanwhile, want to see us as stupid or crazy or deceived, and that's just the way it is. And so making our information available in public.
I think that's the sad bit. I think you hit it. They think we're deceived. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's a challenge because how will we then respond to that other person, that's saying, ah, you're stupid, ah, you're deceived. Oh well. Oh, and then it goes to the spiritual as well. Some people believe there's, like I've said over the years, a spiritual smorgasbord that people are dining on. There are different deities that people believe are the true deity, and then there are those that believe we just exploded into existence. Oh well, yeah. How about that? Yeah, I'm not buying that. That doesn't make any sense. You had to have somehow this came into being, and yet I still can't get my mind around an always existent deity. I just accepted it because, well, I believe he gave me the faith to believe that. That's how I do that. It isn't like I program
It is
myself
strange,
into.
though, isn't it, Robert? Where some of us, even if we don't know everything yet, because we don't, and I've got more questions now than I had before, but some of us see it or understand, and many don't.
Yeah, yeah, and so when I go to the statement where I say I thought I was born again until I actually was, even though I was pretty much a thinking outside the box kind of guy, I thought I was born again and I wasn't. So in that state where I was, I had the impossible mandates of Scripture, the commands of Scripture that nobody can comply with, that nobody can truly obey because the presence and power of the Creator needs to do in and through me what is humanly impossible to do. I can't do it, nobody can. So, with that in mind, I believe that that's where some of this, there's a somewhat of a common thread. We may refer to this deity differently. What I hear is that people recognize there's a presence, there's a power. Unfortunately, some of those that worship Satan will do it at the expense of killing others and human sacrifice. We've had human sacrifice for a long time in humanity. You know that, right? I mean the
Yeah,
Mayans,
and the dog eat dog.
yeah,
Money wins, and it should be the people win, but the money wins instead. Money's the most important thing.
well, for those that create the money out of thin air, it's no big deal for them to just create more, to put more digits in a computer. Or in a bank account. What they have a lust for, from what I understand, is power
But how does
and
it work,
control.
Robert, when NASA take 53 whatever it is $1 million a day, and they're not just in your country, in our country it's the same, but all that money goes to something that's not real or whatever they're doing with it, and yet all
Yeah.
the people, a lot of the people are poor. And I watched this hurricane had come through about 3 years ago, but you'd have believed it only came through yesterday because no one's cleared up the stuff, no one's been rebuilding because there's no money. But we spend $53 million a day going to fake face.
Yeah, so in the one of the biggest consumers, or some of the biggest consumers of that money would be the technology companies that are using that to project a false reality. It's not just that NASA uses it to do fake space missions. It also involves the fact that it's assembling the beast system, the end times Revelation 13 of the Bible, the mark of the beast system. Nobody can buy or sell without the mark of the beast and worshiping the beast, worshiping the image of the beast. So that's a big deal. Artificial intelligence is involved in all the intelligence agencies of the world. The China has one of the biggest police states in this world, And that level of control is going to be disseminated throughout humanity. What I was saying earlier, and I want to go back to that, is that the artificial intelligence regulates the distribution of power, of electricity, power of the influence of individuals to influence the perception, the power disseminated through Google, Twitter, YouTube. Now, when I share my Twitter link, apparently others can see my Twitter, but it's giving a disclaimer that I'm promoting fake news. They wanted to clip my wings and maybe cast um, uh, some doubt that I'm promoting reality. Well, they've got the deception part of this whole equation pretty well covered, and they'll continue to perpetuate that. And so, where what happened with me is I was given a love for the truth, regardless of how
Hey,
unpopular it
Robert,
is.
that we were talking to Joseph. We were out with Flat Earth Dude the other day on a California meet, and
Yeah,
Joseph was just saying, "Is we've got to find a way of being able, it's upsetting that when we tell people, they get really upset."
yeah, yeah. That's the way it is. That's that's the reality of that. It's challenging their worldview. It's challenging their belief system, and they don't like it. You know what? I'm not going to say I liked it either. It's just that, well, where do I go? I've been asking questions my whole life, and when we were raising our sons, now they're all adults and they're doing well. When they lived at home and we were raising them and all of that, that was a huge amount of focus, and I didn't realize how bad we homeschooled them for a good part of all their education. And yet, because we were unaware of the global deception, that the globe itself was a deception as well, we were perpetuating it. So when I found out that I was
Do
part
you know
of
what?
the,
It's not even just that, though, is it? Because this whole global system, it's not just about where we live. It's also about what they want to do to us in this global system.
yeah, they want less of us, fewer people. So they put toxins in the food, water, and air.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
think that because people talk very much about autistic people being born today, but our generation, we had the thalidomide children.
oh yeah, yeah.
So we've just been a big experiment, like you say, forever.
It's a battle. It's a battlefield. So the truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular and it's not an opinion. It's just the truth. So there's the truth about everything, whatever that topic is. You can fill in the blank. And if you, so there are people that believe, it doesn't matter what shape the Earth is. It doesn't. When Walter Cronkite has
Do you
been
know which
heard,
one I hate? They say, "What can you do about it? What can I do about it?" What they're really saying is they're not interested.
yeah, their ignorance and apathy is unfortunate for them. I'm not responsible for their response. I'm responsible for my obedience to do what I'm created to do. That's what this is. That's how I came into this thing. I came into this with the passion, purpose, and eternal perspective and the power to do what I previously couldn't have and the pleasure to enjoy it all even though it's unpopular. How about that? That's a mouthful. It's a big dose of
You're good with
reality.
your tongue twisters, you are, Robert.
What's that?
I said you're good with your tongue twisters, you are.
Well, it's been an interest of mine for my whole life that I can remember. When I didn't know what a word meant, I wanted to find out. So I typically only use words that I know what they mean. Sometimes I have to figure out how to spell them though. Buoyancy was a challenge for me. The spell check kept coming up, but it's Buoyancy. We've got up and down, but we don't have upside down. I want to show you a couple of the basics. This is one of them that I show. Here's a wind chime. Where in the world could a wind chime hang anywhere upside down in relationship to other wind chimes. So when you hear that melodic sound, you can think, oh yeah, there's only up and down, not upside down. I'm going to flip this around and show you another example of reality. So the water covers the face of the stationary Earth. There would be no level on a spinning water ball hurling through space. There would be no level anywhere. So there's bullfrogs here. I have Walter, the rescue turtle that I rescued out of a storm drain when Hurricane Florence came by. And he's in here.
Yeah,
Hopefully
you never
still.
told me about that one, Robert.
Yeah, he's on a video. Yeah, Walter, the rescue turtle. Now look at how pretty that is. And the surface of undisturbed water is flat and level. Isn't that special? In fact, when I was at Flattoberfest, what was interesting about that is that there was a puddle in the parking lot that showed a more accurate reflection than the glass on the building did. The glass on there was Otto's was the name of a multi-million dollar restaurant there in Greenville, South Carolina. And there was wavy glass on the big plate glass windows, and the water in the parking lot was clearly more flat and level. It was easy to see. That's part of what you're looking at here, is the beautiful symmetry of the reflections. Look at the house, and if I drop it down low, it'll be even more obvious. See the house there? And just all the beautiful reflection of that. There's a gentle little amount of waves, or not waves, but ripples. And then I show that on my videos. Now, today, you're maybe going to ask to cue it up. I don't know. But today, once again, I captured the sun in the midst of the clouds. One of them I talked, 29 minutes I'm talking. I got a message. And then another one, I just let the beauty of the waves and the birds and all that do the talking for me. So there are people that want to hear what I have to say and others that don't. Imagine that. That's okay. I realize I'm an acquired taste. It's just that I want people to have an option to consider new information without filtering it out because they don't like the messenger. But see, even when I put a title on there, like my name and my phone number, and I say, is it true? Question mark. Hashtag, is it true? They kind of, some people, a lot of them will get where I'm coming from. When I make a comment on a video like Vsauce that have this is Michael Vsauce here, and he's got like 30 million views on a video, and I just drop on by because it came through in my feed, and I put science fiction, and a few of his fanboys or girls will come over and start hating on me and see that, oh, I'm a flat earther and I don't believe in gravity. Well, I just believe in reality. And I thought you should know. I thought you should know they're lying and they're shoving a false reality in your pie hole with toxic stuff for your food, toxic stuff for your eyes. Seeing is believing. What? What do we see and what do we believe about what we see? Can we be tricked?
Yeah, if only we looked into all the stuff that, like the stuff we take for granted or the stuff that's been pushed out on the television. Only we looked into it, we wouldn't take it. Can I just say, Robert, we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes now.
Oh my gosh, I'm ready to take a breather. Now before you cut me off in the little
we never cut you off, Robert.
the little cane comes out and pulls me off of the stage here. Was there anything that you wanted to tell me, ask me before we go?
Well, I speak to you regularly. I knew that you wanted to come on and talk. You do sound a bit different, Robert. You sound a bit, I don't know, calmer.
Well, I'm growing up. I'm enjoying my tour of duty here, and I'd like for people to explore the liked videos playlist that I have, because there's a lot of powerful information to base your reality on. The challenge that I have for anybody that's listening now, or anybody who will ever listen, if you can get them to do this, is to consider, is it true? Is what you believe true, or something else? Is it a part of a clever deception? You know, we seem to acknowledge that politicians lie. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they lie. Do salesmen lie? Oh yeah. Yeah, they want their commission. Well, I'm not selling anything. I'm giving it away. And so, thank you for your time here. Excuse me. Was there anything else you wanted to ask
Oh,
me or
Robert,
tell me,
thank you
Karen?
for your time. Thank you for your time. Robert's one of my oldest flat Earth friends, aren't you? So,
Oh yeah. Yes, yes, ma'am. Well,
and
it's
we've
good to
had
see you and
many a
Patricia.
hangout together, haven't we?
We have. So, do you think this particular one will will go out on YouTube then?
Of course.
Okay. Well, if you would please send me the link when it's up, and together I'll add it to my liked video playlist.
Oh, love you, Robert. Patricia, is there
Well,
anything you want to say, my darling?
Um, Other than it's always great listening to you, Robert. Um,
thank you so much. Well, and I know we've got a 5 hour time difference, and what I tell everybody is you can call
Start here,
anytime.
Robert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the sun is on the move. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I love you all, and anybody can call me anytime for any reason. Call me whatever you want. Hey,
Okay,
thank
for
you
the
so much.
recording, I'm going to stop it in a second, but we'll say goodbye to you when I've stopped recording, okay?
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So, the recording, thank you very much, Robert. Always great talking to you, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks, Patricia, and thanks for everybody watching.
Thank you all so much.
Love you, Robert.
Anyway,
Love you. Love you all too.
yeah, we love our Robert too. I love Robert too. Anyway, thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, are we saying goodbye now, or?